Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the colors and remain standing for the playing of our national anthem and the invocation. Color Guard, parade the colors. Color Guard, retire the colors. Lieutenant Commander Matthew Four will now deliver the invocation.
Let us pray. Almighty God, I'm curious, how many years ahead are we compared to the rest of the competition? I believe we can absolutely ask this question because of the very people sitting in this auditorium, with all that we deal with in life, with all the balancing acts in every 24-hour period, with all the competing requisites, deadlines, deliverables, even daddy duty, plus at the same time, deliberately devoting effort toward a diploma, which for our country means destiny, which is our duty. Today, receiving in their hands admirable accomplishment will be our future admirals and generals, perhaps even a Secretary of the Navy. Not only are they receiving a firm handshake and the encouraging words of job well done, good and faithful public servant, but also the triumph of knowing some things, which I suppose we can call the already, not yet. That their wisdom, innovation, and creativity sparked concepts, strategies, and ideas unknown in this entire world. And years from now, the world will say, and all the people will acknowledge, indeed, we are decades ahead because of what these students did. So we thank them in advance today because of what their work will do for us tomorrow. God bless them, and God bless our armed forces, and God bless their families. Amen.
Please be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Naval Postgraduate School's Fall Quarter graduation. Sharing the stage with President Rondeau and Provost Gartner is our esteemed guest speaker, Secretary of the Navy, the Honorable Carlos Del Toro, the chairs of our academic departments, and our local military leadership who have been deeply involved in the education of today's graduates. I would now like to introduce Dr. Scott Gardner, Provost of the Naval Postgraduate School.
Good morning. Oh, that was pretty lame. Let's try that again. Good morning. Much better. Thank you. All right, so let me be the first up here on the stage to ask you to please join me in congratulating the Naval Postgraduate student graduating class of Fall 2022. Now that was good. All right. The graduates deserve a lot of praise and recognition for their terrific accomplishments and what they've achieved, but we know that for each graduate, it's a team effort with family members, friends, fellow students, helping them, supporting them, being part of the team. And so, in particular, the family members deserve recognition because in some ways they are too graduating today. So graduates, could you please join me in recognizing and thanking your family members for all their terrific support that they have provided. The Naval Postgraduate School is unquestionably the finest graduate military university in the world, unquestionably. And a key reason for that is the outstanding faculty that we have here at the Naval Postgraduate School. Would the faculty, civilian and military, of the Naval Postgraduate School please rise and let's recognize them. Thank you. The school has a lot of moving parts in it, faculty, students, and staff. The staff play a critical role in making that system, that university work. Would we all join together, please, and thank and recognize the staff of the Naval Postgraduate School. Okay, 2 points. The first is the key one, I think. Graduates, you are recognized and congratulated by me for leaping off a mountain. What might you might say, what does that mean to leap off a mountain? And it means two things. First, you got to climb the mountain in order to leap off it. And climbing the mountain means accomplishing things that you had not done before, maybe accomplishing things that you thought you could never do. A math class, a technical class, a writing task that you have, looking at work, reading work, and thinking, I could never contribute to that, right? So for all of us, part of graduate education has an intellectual version of what the SEALs call Hell Week, right? I mean, it's tough, it's hard, and you're not sure you can do it until you've done it. And for that, you should be recognized as and appreciated for a major accomplishment that you've done in climbing that mountain. Great job. But you also did something else. You leapt off that mountain. You jumped. And what I mean by that is with your capstone and your thesis, you asked a question that you didn't know what the answer was. And in fact, you didn't know if there would be an answer. Think about how rare that is today. I ran through the news this morning, picked up a couple things out of it. Population of the Ukraine, about 43 million. Boiling point of lithium, which is used in the batteries for electric vehicles, 2,500 degrees. Very hot, very hot. All right, 2,000. I didn't know that. I didn't have to know it, right? I just got out the Google, boom, right? So think how rare it is for us to ask questions for which we don't know the answer. Think how uncommon that is, and I'd argue think how necessary that is. Because by working on questions, researching questions, learning questions for which you did not know the answer, You transformed yourself from a knowledge consumer to a knowledge explorer. As a knowledge explorer, you learned how to navigate uncharted territory, how to transform uncertainty into innovation. Knowledge explorer. I would argue that this is among the most critical roles we have in today's Navy, Marine Corps, and military, being knowledge explorers, being able to take in the uncertainty that the rapid changes in our world provide and to make sense of them, to identify opportunities in them, and to move forward within them in a way that's productive and helpful for our nation and its military. You climbed the mountain and you leapt. That's hard, and I'm very proud of you. Well done. Second thing that you've done, in addition to many other things, but second thing I'll note is that you met and worked with different people from different communities, maybe within your service, from different disciplines, from different services, from different countries. And that's a terrific aspect of the Naval Postgraduate School, is this ability to work together, partner with, collaborate with people from a variety of different backgrounds and interests. And I would encourage you strongly to maintain those relationships, to curate those friendships. 10, 20 years down the road, those could be incredibly, incredibly valuable to you. I hope among those friendships you have are your relationship with the faculty members. As a teacher, I can tell you it means the world to us to have a student come back years later and recognize and say, hey, I learned this in your class and it helped, or I just really enjoyed your class. It means the world. So that relationship is also very important, and perhaps selfishly as educators, we hope that you would maintain that one as well. Graduates, congratulations on your fantastic accomplishments. Well done.
I'm now honored to introduce the president of the Naval Postgraduate School, Vice Admiral Anne Rondeau, United States Navy, retired.
Good morning. What a great day. For all of you who have children here, let those kids just give us their voices. They're our future, and they're why we're here. It's great to have you. In addition to those great moments of thanks and recognition that the provost mentioned, I want to also mention a couple of others. One is our very own Del Monte Brass, and it's great to have you all here and part of us. And in specific, I want to also recognize Ms. Sonia Solomon. Without her, we would not be here. She is a person who always coordinates, organizes, and tells us exactly where to sit. I want to thank Sonia for all of her work, and as well as the young sailors who are up there and the civilians who are doing the videography, the voice, the sound that makes us look good and sound good. So thank you very much. December 16th, 2022 is a date that maybe we will remember. But what really is important is just this moment of being together and having the faculty, the Warrior Scholar students, the families, and the staff, and all of us who come together 4 times a year to celebrate knowledge, the acquisition of knowledge, and then the application of knowledge towards the important parts of our countries, both the United States and our allies and friends, and prosperity and peace and the avoidance of war. NPS is by design an inter-service, interagency, and international institution. Defense is a team sport. And we need to be able to think about that not only within the joint world of the U.S. military, both the military and the nation and our civilian leaders, but also our international friends and all those who do believe in the prosperity and the democracy and the freedom of the human spirit. Together, you and we studied, researched, and solved hard problems. Together, you supported each other through what many have called the crucible of NPS, but I would also say the magic of NPS. And it is a degree and knowledge well earned through very scrutinizing and profoundly dedicated and expert faculty whose core ethos is not only about knowledge and scholarship and the application of knowledge, but it's also about the spirit of learning and the ability to learn anything that a person wants to learn through hard work. And only by working together have we, not only you, but we have all succeeded. And that's why we're here today, because of the teamwork. The families, the friends, the faculty, the staff, and the Warrior Scholar students are here today to celebrate. As the provost said, your team has also included, again, that faculty and all those who want to do research at the cutting edge. Yes, basic research, basic scholarship, absolutely. But also that research then goes over the gap and applies to real things and real problems. There are many others behind the scenes who work these things and who make NPS future ready. Future ready with our partnerships, the resourcing of our modernization efforts, and improving our classified and distance learning capabilities to extend our reach and impact. You have impact as a global force. Whether you're an individual leader or a leader of a unit or of an organization, and the knowledge is a global force for good. The extent of our impact is as wide as you all are throughout the globe. So I'd like to say that NPS is where science meets the art of warfare. This is more than the tagline. In the phrase, you, our new graduates, are the art of warfare. Our faculty is part of the art of warfare. But fundamentally, this is about leadership. The leadership of the ability to bring forth new knowledge, to make teams and ourselves better and stronger, to have the courage of heart, the courage of voice, to speak up and bring in new ideas, and to be positively and constructively disruptive to conventional thinking that keeps us someplace behind us rather than ahead of us. You leave NPS fully equipped to solve the hard problems, no matter what degree you receive today. You all are leaders of innovation. You all are leaders, potentially, of creativity. What matters is your heart, and courage has as its core word, heart, C-O-U-R, means heart. So do we have the courage of our ability to Monday morning step forward and think anew and act anew and lead forward? As part of the Naval Education Enterprise, NPS uniquely serves the fusion of defense-focused education, research, and innovation. We work to empower you, our Warrior Scholars, and our students throughout to make a difference while you are here, and then to take what you've learned and lead forward, lean forward, and be decisive about what you know that is going to add to operational readiness. That day is today, and that day is for leaders. Fall Quarter graduates. Today I'm very pleased to have with us two people in the past 2 days who exemplify what I just described. First, and I will go on with him in a moment, is our commencement speaker, the 78th Secretary of the Navy, the Honorable Carlos Del Toro. He's a man of vision, impact, and the courage of heart to lead us to the new place that we need to be. He had a 22-year career in the Navy as an Aegis surface warfare officer and rose to command a guided missile destroyer. He was also very successful in industry, including starting his own company. And he will tell you that as an Aegis commander and a graduate of the Space Systems program here, he was able to be that difference-making entrepreneur. But I think it is important to also talk about the other graduate who was here yesterday. So I will introduce more our Secretary of the Navy. But I wanted to mention that yesterday, the Secretary helped us to induct our 26th member of the NPS Hall of Fame, retired Admiral Cecil Haney. Admiral Haney earned not one, but 2 Master of Science degrees in engineering acoustics and systems technology, both with distinction. He was a career submarine officer, serving aboard 5 submarines, rising to command of submarine squadrons and groups. As a flag officer, he rose to command the United States Pacific Fleet and the U.S. Strategic Command. His leadership continued in business and does continue in business and with nonprofits. Admiral Haney was also the first African-American NPS graduate to achieve the rank of 4-star admiral in the U.S. Navy. He could not be here today, but let's give that good man and an alum a round of applause. So Admiral Haney was a man who broke barriers, and so can you, and so will we. We must challenge our assumptions and long-held beliefs and grow as leaders into the time that calls us, as an institution and as leaders. The mission is what binds us together and bridges our differences in common purpose. I believe that Admiral Haney and Secretary Del Toro will agree that to outfight, we must first outthink. This is not new in the United States. Outthinking has always been one of our core strengths as a nation. But in this cognitive era of strategic competition, both education and technology are essential for advantaging decision making, what we call decision advantage. In competition or combat, when all things are equal, the human element is the decisive difference, and that independence of thought and unity of common purpose in a team are what we are about. NPS is 100% defense focused. We develop leaders of our future force. Our graduates do not apply to come to NPS. You are selected based on your outstanding operational performance, your leadership promise for the challenges ahead that you and we must face together. Of the 337 graduates we celebrate today, most are from the naval services and other defense branches, but our fall quarter cohort also includes 40 extraordinarily talented international students from 24 countries. I would ask that our U.S. colleagues please applaud for those international students. Imagine being here. English is your second or third language. Technology and math and science are the requirement, and bringing together your culture and this culture toward the promise of your own nation. I am very admiring of our international students, and I'm pleased to be able to acknowledge Mr. Prastio Hadi and Mrs. Hadi who are from Indonesia and the Consul General of Indonesia in San Francisco. Sir and ma'am, very, very nice to have you here. So, the NPS degree that you receive today signals to everyone that you not only increased your knowledge, but that you have distinguished yourself as a pedigreed warrior scholar, and most importantly, a doer, an applier. You will be in demand. What happens on the first Monday of work will be important for you and how you walk into all of that. Your superiors and the people who have an expectation of you will have a high degree of hope that you'll bring them to a new place. You are ready to be the leader that they need. While here, you did create the strong bonds that the provost spoke about, and I ask you to continue those bonds. You're well on your way to getting things done. And remember, lifelong learning is indeed our greatest competitive advantage. Learn every day. Here at NPS, we're privileged to be the bridge on your journey, and one which supports your success and common values of service, sacrifice, and selflessness. So our guest speaker today, the 78th Secretary of the Navy, just before coming in here, I said, "Sir, I don't think you have an NPS alumni pin." He took off his Secretary of the Navy pin and put on his alumni pin. Yay, SecNav. And yesterday to the faculty, he said, I want you all to hear this. He walked in, he said, "I'm home." So as the Secretary of the Navy, he is responsible for more than 900,000 sailors, Marines, reservists, and civilians, with an annual budget of more than $230 billion. As I mentioned earlier, he understands the Navy firsthand, having served for 22 years in the Navy, then moving on to business, and ultimately starting the SBG Technology company in 2004, where he was the CEO and the president, and of course the founder. He lives the ideal of a lifelong learner and has achieved the hat trick, or triple crown, of education, being from the Naval Academy, the War College, and NPS. He also earned a master's in legislative affairs from George Washington University. He is a supporter of education, but he is a demander of the results of that education. He needs us to be better than we were yesterday. He has directed that we become a Naval Innovation Center for the Naval Force, Navy, and the Marine Corps, and the entire department. And just yesterday, he was with us when NPS signed an education partnership agreement with the Stanford Doerr School of Sustainability at Stanford University. Within the naval education enterprise, his vision for NPS is to expand, leverage, and make sure that our ecosystem serves the Navy and the Marine Corps for acceleration, education, research, and innovation outcomes. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you one of our extraordinary alumni, Carlos Del Toro.
Good morning, everyone. So I had the opportunity to come here from 1986 to 89, and I lived and studied and worked here for 3 years. And when I'd come home every day, my wife would actually tell me, said, "Honey, I love you with all my heart. You crack open the door, you throw your cover into the house. If I shoot at it, go back to school, because I've got 2 kids that I'm taking care of." And I want right now all you graduates to get up, turn to your loved ones and your spouses and your children and applaud them for what they've done here. Come on, get up. And do the same every time you come home for the rest of your career. President Rondeau, Provost Gardner, Admiral Haney in absentia, distinguished guests, family members, and most importantly, NPS graduates, thank you for inviting me here to speak. It's truly an honor to be here in Monterey, my home, to address some of the most talented women and men in our joint and coalition forces. I did have the privilege of studying here myself during my career as a naval officer, so I know firsthand the quality and the criticality of the education you receive. And let me pause for a second to thank the faculty. You think you know the impact that you make on these young men and women, but you have no idea, because the impact lasts far more than just a few years. It lasts a lifetime, and will last even after you're long gone, because the impact that you make on these individuals is truly lifelong in every such way, and it has an enormous impact on our nation, our national security. And I'd like to recognize my thesis advisor, my professor, my mentor, Dr. Rudy Penholzer, who has taught at this university for over 50 years. Rudy, would you please rise and be recognized? So I'm here today, first and foremost, to congratulate you and to discuss the current national security climate. I even have some exciting developments to discuss with you today. But first, I want to commend you all on your tremendous accomplishments. This is your day, and you have worked hard to deserve it. I also want to thank again your family members. Thank you all for your support, for your presence, and all the little things that you do every day to make it possible for your sailor, for your Marine, your soldier, your airman, your guardian to serve in our armed services. In addition to our 233 U.S. military service members, we have 64 DoD civilians, as well as 40 international students from 24 different countries graduating today. Mr. Hadi, thank you for your presence here. Indonesia is a very important partner to us, and we look forward to working with you as an ally moving forward. When I recall my time here at NPS, I remember thinking what an extraordinary gift, a gift, I'd been given to study and work daily with fellow service members from all over the Joint Force, and also from some of our partner nations around the world. And I hope you feel that way today. You've had the opportunity to learn together, to study together, to interact both inside and outside of the classroom, and perhaps best of all, to discuss the complex problems and how to solve them. Solutions to the many challenges to our national security will require analytic thinking and creative strategic problem solving. The graduates here today know a thing or two about that. Lieutenant Commander Michael Zecca, a financial management MBA grad, found through his research that special operators spend an average of $3,000 out of pocket for commercial equipment. So he wrote a thesis proposing modifying the Naval Special Warfare Acquisition Strategy to transfer a portion of funding to individual SEALs in the form of an advanced equipment allowance to minimize out-of-pocket expenses and to reduce waste. What a great example of combining hands-on expertise and technical knowledge with rigorous research, careful analysis, and creative problem solving. NPS's technical focus allows graduates to drive the pace of change because they understand at a very granular level what is possible and what is not, both tactically and strategically. As you may know, NPS is widely recognized as the leading educational institution. It's already been mentioned by the provost. As a recent example of that, NPS was granted membership in the University Consortium of Applied Hypersonics. This membership will facilitate deeper defense collaboration amongst partner universities, and it will bolster NPS's ability to contribute its research and expertise in high supersonic wind tunnel capability, and best of all, its warrior scholars' operational perspectives to help accelerate results. And it doesn't matter whether you study hypersonics or history, meteorology, or management, NPS primarily teaches you how to think and how to analyze a problem. Ladies and gentlemen, I have 200 admirals, close to 60 generals. I tell them every single day when I meet with them. I expect you all to know how to fight, but I need you to think strategically how to avoid conflict, and if called to fight, how to win. Not only does NPS promote cutting-edge advancements in research and development, it creates leaders. Leaders, that's truly what you are, leaders, who can think their way out of problems, providing profound value to our entire joint force. More so, you've been afforded the opportunity to, in the words of the late Defense Secretary Ash Carter, to think outside of the Pentagon's five-sided box. True, and you will be called upon to do that, and I need you to do that. I need you to think out of the box, not just conform to the norms of current thinking. I need you to be creative and think out of the box all the time. Just do it respectfully. We need you to go forth and apply the lessons that you've learned here, and that creative thinking especially in your future roles as operators, engineers, in research and development fields, and most importantly, as warfighters that you are. Never lose sight of that. And who knows where you'll be in 20 years. When I studied space systems engineering here at NPS, I could never have predicted that I would one day be the 78th Secretary of the Navy. Perhaps some of my professors didn't think so either. Some would say, nevertheless, there truly is no telling where you may go or how we may put your knowledge and skills to use. Each of you has shared your own path to arrive at this particular point in your careers and lives. You've accomplished a very worthwhile goal, and this chapter is closing, and a new one is about to begin Monday, as the President stated. This is a time of change for you and your families, and you will be called upon once again to adopt, to innovate, and to renew your efforts. The same can be said of our nation today. We find ourselves at a strategic inflection point, one that demands we renew our commitment to naval primacy as we chart a course through this century of intense maritime competition. In the past 2 decades, while our strategic focus has been on operations in Afghanistan and Iraq, the Chinese economy has grown at an exceptional rate, paralleled by huge investments in the PRC's military capabilities. Along with these developments came an alarming disregard for the rules-based international order that constitutes humanity's best chance at maintaining peace and prosperity. Over the last 20 years, the People's Liberation Army Navy has added over 100 combatants to its fleet, an unprecedented naval buildup that is a key component of its increasingly aggressive military posture. And in fact, the Department of Defense has recently released 2022 China Military Power Report calls the PRC the most consequential and systemic challenge to our national security and to a free and open international system. The rules-based world order is in jeopardy, and the strategic environment is more complex than it's ever been in generations. That is why it is absolutely imperative that every step of the way we manage this competition in a careful, considered, responsible manner. You warrior scholars understand this well. From Ensign Ethan Boone's research on classifying and predicting terrorist activities on a global scale, to Ecuadorian Navy Commanders Mitten Mentieta's work on predicting collective violence from information campaigns on social media, you all understand that the global security environment presents daunting new challenges. But this is not the first time that our nation has faced major challenges in the geostrategic landscape. In fact, this school was founded in 1909 in recognition of the critical need for skilled engineers as potential adversaries on both the Atlantic and Pacific expanded their battle force fleets. 1909 at the Naval Academy, and then transferred over here in 1951. After World War II, profound shifts in the security environment once again led to major initiatives in naval operations and education. Sputnik launched humankind into the space age, requiring us to mobilize our space exploration efforts, spearheaded by the Naval Research Laboratory. And with the Soviet acquisition of nuclear weapons, we began a new era of security strategy based on deterrence. Once again, naval leaders adapted to the new environment, with Chief of Naval Operations Arleigh Burke launching the Navy's nuclear fleet, the Polaris missile program, and the outer space initiatives. It was my honor to command an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, and Arleigh Burke has been an inspiration to me as I followed in his footsteps to the U.S. Naval Academy and here at the Navy Postgraduate School. I look to his example and I draw from my experiences in uniform, in business, and in my academic studies as we now face a new global inflection point. The challenges we face demand innovation and fresh thinking. It takes educated thinkers at every level who have the tools and have been charged with the responsibility to fix the problems they see in front of them, as well as see the possibilities that lie over the horizons. And that is why earlier this year I established a Naval Education Task Force, comprised of a diverse group of leading scholars and warfighters, to take a hard look at the state of naval education across the entire enterprise. I wanted to better understand how our current efforts align with my One Navy Marine Corps team strategic guidance that I published last October. This task force has worked hard over the past 10 months, focusing on 3 major areas of inquiry: the continuum of learning for sailors and Marines, policy and management needs for effective education, governance, and oversight, and human and capital investment. As an outcome of their efforts, I am pleased to announce today a bold new vision for the naval education and innovation ecosystem. First, we are establishing the Naval Education Board, comprised of senior Department of the Navy leaders for strong naval education governance, composed of myself, Chief of Naval Operations, the Commandant of the Marine Corps himself. Second, we are increasing naval education resources and investments to meet the department's true education requirements. And third, a new education strategy that is aligned with my strategic guidance is also in the works. Yesterday, it was my sincere pleasure to join President Rondeau and leaders from Stanford University to enter into a historic partnership, as she stated, between NPS and the Stanford Doerr School of Sustainability. NPS is already a leading research institute in the climate and energy space, and this partnership will expand NPS's reach and leadership in support of the Department of the Navy's Climate Action Plan. I issued the Department of the Navy's first comprehensive strategy on climate change earlier this year to put us on a path to build a climate-ready force. We are doing this by building our resilience and making our systems less dependent on the logistical tether of fossil fuels. These are warfighting readiness advantages, and that's how we view this problem. Climate readiness is mission readiness, and climate readiness is extremely important to mitigate the negative effects that we are experiencing so that all these beautiful children and grandchildren in the future can have a safe world to live in. Over the next several years, we will also create a premier military education facility tailored to innovation and experimentation, serving as a technology resource for Navy and Marine Corps warfighting development commands, as well as go-to partner of the defense industrial base, the technological sector, and academia. This Naval Innovation Center at NPS will support all of our innovation efforts, from Naval X to the Marine Innovation Unit to the corridors of the Pentagon, as well as to our commanders distributed around the globe. The Department of the Navy is ready to join the ecosystem of our nation's most modern and most highly qualified innovators and researchers, and Monterey will be the home to that effort. It is because of the incredibly complex security environment that we find ourselves in today, because of our enduring challenges, that we are redoubling these efforts. But we will not just work harder, we will work smarter. That's where the out-of-the-box thinking you have learned here at NPS comes to play. Take, for instance, Lieutenant Angelia O'Toole's research on how simulators could be used as an open-source physics-based simulation platform capable of modeling orbits, maneuvering, and proximity operations in space. As a space systems graduate myself, let me say bravo Zulu to you, Lieutenant O'Toole. Or another example among many, Marine Master Sergeant David Nass's research, examining how new ground cyber and space controllers could advise ground commanders at the lowest tactical level on information, cyber and space employment, and operate organically, own tactical information, hardware, and software. It's simply extraordinary. It's knowing that we have service members of Master Sergeant Nass's caliber that helps me sleep better at night. In closing, graduates, whether the threat be a resurgent Russia, an aggressive China, a changing climate, or the sheer speed of technological developments, I am certain that you can overcome all those challenges. President Rondeau, thank you again for your leadership and for inviting me here today. It's been an honor to speak to all of you. I'm excited about the bright futures ahead for each and every one of you and the many great innovations that you will bring to the Department of Defense. Make the most of this opportunity. Remember what brought you here, who brought you here, because they will determine everything about where you go from here. And if I may offer one last bit of advice, stay in touch with each other. You will find that the bonds you forged here through intense studies, late nights, and committed problem solving will last you a lifetime. So once again, congratulations to all of you and to your families. Happy holidays to you all. I can't wait to see the great things that you will do in the new year. And remember, full speed ahead. Thank you.
I would now like to invite President Rondeau, Provost Gartner, and the Honorable Carlos Del Toro forward for the conferring of degrees upon our doctoral candidates. Will the candidates for the degree Doctor of Philosophy please stand and proceed to the platform?
Will Ms. Lara Magallanes from the Department of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, the candidate for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Astronautical Engineering, please cross the stage? The title of Ms. Magellana's dissertation is Unscented Guidance for Point-to-Point Reaction Wheel Maneuvers. Ms. Magellana's advisor is Professor Mark Karpenko from the Department of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. She developed an approach to perform attitude maneuvers of large spacecraft without the need for feedback sensors. This is analogous to successfully parallel parking your car with your eyes closed and without the help of any autonomous auto park feature. The new approach provides an essential option for maintaining the operation of any spacecraft that lose normal control authority due to feedback sensor failures. Example applications include NASA's Hubble telescope or NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, both of which have suffered from sensor failures. The DoD space community will also benefit from her work. In her dissertation, Mrs. Magellanes characterized the pointing performance of the unscented reaction wheel maneuver control mode and showed that optimization of spacecraft momentum bias was critical, reducing overall pointing error by exploiting natural feedback paths which exist in the nonlinear physics of rotational motion. President Rondo, I present to you Ms. Magellanes. She has completed all requirements prescribed by the faculty and is recommended for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Astronautical Engineering.
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining. Pretty cool.
Will Mr. Daniel Harrington from the Department of Systems Engineering, the candidate for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Systems Engineering, please cross the stage. The title of Mr. Harrington's dissertation is Applications of Graph Theory for Reuse of Model-Based Systems Engineering Design Data. Mr. Harrington's dissertation advisor is Professor Paul Beery from the Department of Systems Engineering. Mr. Harrington, in research sponsored by the Office of the Secretary of Defense, developed new engineering tools and methods for the management of system design information. He developed methods to translate, interpret, and utilize system designs created using a set of modeling tools that lack interoperability. His research provides the engineering community with a way to manage system design information at an enterprise level as a connected body of knowledge. Mr. Harrington's results will lead to improved efficiency of system development efforts for the U.S. Department of Defense. President Rondo, I present to you Mr. Harrington. He has completed all requirements prescribed by the faculty and is recommended for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Systems Engineering.
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining.
Will Brazilian Navy Lieutenant Commander Vinçois Santos Pisana from the Department of Physical Oceanography, the candidate for the degree of Doctor of Physical Oceanography, please cross the stage. The title of the Lieutenant Commander's dissertation is Seabed Morphological Prediction with Application to Mobility and Burial of Munitions. Lieutenant Commander Pisana's dissertation advisor is Professor Chu, Chairman of the Department of Oceanography. Lieutenant Commander Pisana's research was sponsored by the DoD Strategic Environmental Research and Development Program. He uses numerical model simulations validated against field observations to investigate the physical processes influencing the burial and mobility of munitions in the underwater environment. He enhanced the model capable of effectively predicting waves, currents, sediment transport, morphological changes, seabed instability, and bed form migration. He further investigated in detail the impact of these environmental processes on the fate of munitions. Lieutenant Commander Pisana's findings represent a major step toward predicting the burial and mobility of munitions in a realistic near-shore environment. President Rondeau, I present to you Lieutenant Commander Pisana. He has completed all requirements prescribed by the faculty and is recommended for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Physical Oceanography.
By the authority, yeah, go ahead. I want to get his hood on fast here. By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining. Well done.
Congratulations, Doctor. Will Mr. Larry Gulliver from the Department of Physical Oceanography, the candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Physical Oceanography, please cross the stage? The title of Mr. Gulliver's dissertation is Dynamics, Stability, and Maintenance Mechanisms of Super Long-Lived Ocean Vortices. Mr. Gulliver's advisor is Professor Timur Radko from the Department of Oceanography. On determining the mechanisms behind the long lifespans of ocean eddies, Larry Gulliver, and research supported by the National Science Foundation, determined three controlling factors that had not been previously addressed. First is an adjusted state strongly dependent on the direction of the background flow. Second, he looked at how small-scale, rough topography can stabilize large eddies. Nicknaming it the sandpaper effect, he also looked at how the forces which cause it and how to predict them, these sandpaper effects. His results will lead to better parameterization of the seafloor that will increase the forecasting accuracy of the Naval's operational ocean models. President Rondeau, I present to you Mr. Gulliver. He has completed all requirements prescribed by the faculty and is recommended for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Physical Oceanography.
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the rights, the privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining. Dean of Students, prior to you bringing up the rest of the group here, let's give a round of applause for all of our PhD.
Will the candidates for the degrees Master of Arts, Master of Science, Master of Business Administration, and Executive Master of Business Administration please stand?
Wow.
President Rondeau, I present to you these candidates. After consideration of their academic accomplishments, the Academic Council will recommend them for the degrees Masters of Arts, Masters of Science, Masters of Business Administration, and Executive Masters of Business Administration as specified.
Okay, you ready for this? By the recommendation of the Academic Council, I will, by the authority vested in me, confer upon them the degree Master of Arts, Master of Science, Master of Business Administration, and Executive Master of Business Administration as specified, with all the rights, the privileges, and the responsibilities thereunto pertaining.
Will the first row of candidates please proceed to the platform? Remaining candidates, please be seated. Of this quarter's graduating class of 338 students, 118 have also earned their command and staff diploma from the Joint Professional Military Education Program sponsored by the Naval War College. With the degree Master of Science in Electrical Engineering, Captain Jared Valesky, United States Marine Corps. Lieutenant Daniel Batista, United States Navy. Lieutenant Justin Johnston, United States Navy. Lieutenant Heather Galena Nearing, United States Navy. Lieutenant Alexander Prohl, United States Navy. Graduating with distinction and receiving the Surface Navy Association Award for Academic Excellence and recognized for an outstanding thesis, Lieutenant Matthew Paul Storm, United States Navy. Lieutenant Jessica Valesky, United States Navy. Graduating with distinction and recognized for an outstanding thesis, Lieutenant Georges Souklas, Hellenic Navy. With a degree Master of Arts in Security Studies, East Asia and the Indo-Pacific, Captain Daehan Pong, Republic of Korea Army. Captain Se-ryong Kim, Republic of Korea Army. Lieutenant Matthew Duncan, United States Navy. Lieutenant Jason Poonsalon, United States Navy. Lieutenant J.G. Jordan Rosa, United States Navy. Receiving the Naval Postgraduate School Superior Service Award, the Naval Intelligence Foundation Admiral Bobby Ray Inman Award for Excellence Intelligence, and recognized for an outstanding thesis, Lieutenant Julian Salmon, United States Navy. Captain Nakia Franklin, United States Air Force. Receiving the Louis D. Liskin Award for Excellence in Regional Security Studies, Major Eric Little, United States Air Force. Major Goon Hyung Do, Republic of Korea Air Force. With a degree Master of Arts in Security Studies, Middle East, South Asia, and Sub-Saharan Africa, Lieutenant Commander Melanie Wall, United States Navy. Major Andrew Sapola, United States Air Force. Major Lauren Petrie, United States Air Force. Receiving the Foreign Area Officer Association Award for Excellence in International Affairs, Captain Brian Watson II, United States Air Force. With the degree Master of Arts in Security Studies, Europe and Eurasia, receiving the Marine Corps Association Superior Service Award for Outstanding U.S. Marine Student, Major Brandon Chesley, United States Marine Corps. Captain John Allred, United States Army. Major Andrew Shields, United States Army. Lieutenant Commander Matthew Lawson, United States Navy. Major Calvin Collins, United States Air Force. Major Matthew Garvey, United States Air Force. Major Robert LaFleur, United States Air Force. Major Matthew Prill, United States Air Force. With the degree Master of Arts in Security Studies, Strategic Studies, and graduated with an outstanding thesis, Commander Arunggara Arnula, Indonesian Navy. Graduating with an outstanding thesis, Lieutenant Daniel Feeney, United States Navy. Graduating with distinction and receiving the Surface Navy Association's Award for Excellence in Surface Warfare Research, Lieutenant Joshua Hudson, United States Navy. With the degree Master of Arts in Security Studies, Homeland Security and Defense, Captain Gorzdan Nadov, Bulgarian Special Forces. Graduating with an outstanding thesis, Lieutenant James Magno, United States Navy. Captain Eliezer Dalnay, Philippine Coast Guard. Lieutenant Colonel Ian Osterreicher, United States Air Force. With the degree Master of Arts in Security Studies, Combating Terrorism Policy and Strategy, Lieutenant Colonel Yazid Alamouche, Jordanian Army. Brigadier General Emmanuel Baidu, Ghana Army. Major Barrington Gale, Jamaica Defense Force. Major Saidu Gdenya Kargbo, Sierra Leone Army. Colonel Ahmed Mohammed, Egyptian Army. Major Lionel Oliveira, Belize Defense Force. Commander Abu Bakr Maigadur, Nigerian Navy. Commander Vincent Laka, Philippine Coast Guard. Graduating with distinction and receiving the International Student Award for Excellence in Regional or Security Studies, Assistant Superintendent Van Hercules Lambert, Royal Grenada Police Force. With the degree Master of Arts in Security Studies, Homeland Security and Defense, Lieutenant Commander Ronald Miller, United States Coast Guard. Fire Lieutenant Marie Bollock, Gainesville Fire Rescue, Florida. Jenny Best, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Washington, D.C. Fire Captain Sean Betts, Virginia Beach Fire Department. Denise Bertolon, Federal Emergency Management Agency, Texas. Police Detective Jeremy Chedester, Washington County Sheriff's Office, Oregon. Amanda Dickerson, Jeffersonville Police Department, Indiana. Fire Captain David Follett, Phoenix Fire Department, Arizona. Supervisory Special Agent Pavel Frankowski, Homeland Security Investigations, Washington, D.C. Battalion Chief Elias Frick, Santa Fe Fire Department, New Mexico. Deputy Chief Jose Garcia, Santa Cruz Police Department, California. Michael Giardina, Philadelphia Office of Emergency Management, Pennsylvania. Supervisory Special Agent Christopher Goitz, United States Secret Service, Washington, D.C. Fire Captain David Greenstein, City of Tarmac Fire Rescue, Florida. Joshua Henson, United States Coast Guard, Washington, D.C. Police Captain Gary Michael Jenkins, Jr., Virginia State Police. Police Captain Michael Jones, Sr., Metropolitan Police Department, Washington, D.C. Sabrina Lurkey, Arizona Department of Emergency and Military Affairs. Fire Captain Alvin Lidke, City of Yuma Fire Department, Arizona. Police Lieutenant Gabriela Pardo, New York City Police Department. Veronica Perez, Miami-Dade Department of Emergency Management, Florida. Battalion Chief Timothy Rice, Fire Department of New York. Earl Rose IV, U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Kentucky. Battalion Chief Sean Royal, Charlotte, North Carolina Fire Department. Christopher Schramm, Transportation Security Administration, Virginia. Kyle Thomas, Federal Emergency Management Agency, Washington, D.C. Police Major Russell Wheatley, Idaho State Police. Police Lieutenant Michael Williams, Chico, California Police Department. With the degree Master of Science in Applied Design for Innovation, graduating with distinction and receiving the Monterey Peninsula Council of the Navy League Lieutenant Commander Tom Weinhardt Highest Academic Achievement Award, Master Sergeant David Nass, United States Marine Corps. With an outstanding thesis, Major Patrick Foley, United States Army. Major Devin Kirkwood, United States Army. Graduating with distinction, Major Thomas Kraus, United States Army. Major William Martin, United States Army. Major Lamarck Patterson, United States Army. Major Michael Rowan, United States Army. Major Michael Tovo, United States Army. Lieutenant Stephen Domingo, Jr., United States Navy. Senior Chief Petty Officer Benjamin Edelman, United States Navy. Lieutenant Giles Manus IV, United States Navy. Lieutenant Brandon Schultz, United States Navy. Major Thomas Haney, United States Air Force. Lieutenant Colonel Dustin Merritt, United States Air Force. Captain Robert Stelmack, United States Air Force. With the degree Master of Science in Information Strategy and Political Warfare, Major Matthew Alexander, United States Army. Major Taylor Boyd, United States Army. Major Roy Erickson III, United States Army. Major Peter Harris, United States Army. With an outstanding thesis, Major David Hulk, United States Army. Major Brendan Jackman, United States Army. Graduating with distinction, recognized for an outstanding thesis and receiving the Association of the United States Army General Joseph W. Stilwell Chapter Award for Outstanding Army Student, Major Kelly Zhang, United States Army. Major Alexander Kenna, United States Army. Major Michael McCanney, United States Army. Lieutenant Colonel Ibrahim Shan Shakir, Moldavian National Defense Force. Major Shane Smith, United States Army. Receiving the Pat Tillman Leadership Award, Major Megan Tucker, United States Army. Major Leonardo Villalobos, United States Army. Major Ryan Ward, United States Army. Lieutenant Commander Maria Cristina A. Rojas, Philippine Navy. With the degree Master of Science in Defense Analysis, Colonel Joel Bonavente, Philippine Marine Corps. Major Patrick Albert, United States Army. Lieutenant Colonel Murad Al-Tarane, Royal Jordanian Army. Lieutenant Colonel Munbayar Buyarsikhan, Mongolian Armed Forces. With an outstanding thesis, Major Caleb Edwards, United States Army. Lieutenant Colonel Musugo Harawa, Malawi Army. Major Ante Hainola, Finland Army. Major Ivan Locario, Belizean Army. Graduating with distinction, recognized for an outstanding thesis, receiving the Naval Postgraduate School Outstanding Academic Achievement Award for International Students, the Monterey Kiwanis Club Outstanding International Student Award, and the Chief of Naval Operations Award for Excellence in Operations Research, Commander Milton Mendieta, Ecuadorian Navy. Lieutenant Colonel Apa Yao Awusu, Ghanaian Army. With an outstanding thesis, Major Augustin Paolo, United States Army. With an outstanding thesis, Major James Robb, United States Army. Major Peter Reiter, United States Army. With an outstanding thesis, Major Mark Rose, United States Army. Major Mareks Runts, Latvian Special Forces. Major Thomas Stanley, United States Army. Major Cody Trevelyan, United States Army. Major Joost Martin Tonman, Royal Netherlands Army. Lieutenant Andrew Dixie, United States Navy. Graduating with distinction, receiving the Air Force Association Award for Outstanding U.S. Air Force Student, Major Joshua Dryden, United States Air Force. Major Spencer Reed, United States Air Force. With the degree Master of Science in Operations Research and graduating with an outstanding thesis, Captain Lane Johnson, United States Marine Corps. Graduating with an outstanding thesis and receiving the Military Operations Research Society Stephen A. Tisdale Graduate Research Award, Ensign Ethan Boone, United States Navy. With an outstanding thesis, Ensign Richard Fetter, United States Navy. Graduating with distinction, Ensign Micah O., United States Navy. With distinction, Ensign Connor Rooney, United States Navy. With the degree Masters in Human Systems Integration, Lieutenant Commander Jesse Kaiser, United States Coast Guard. With the degree Master of Science in Computer Science, Dr. Elizabeth Gooch, Department of the Navy. With an outstanding thesis, Lieutenant Commander Andrew John Falk, United States Navy. With an outstanding thesis, Lieutenant Brian Foley, United States Navy. With an outstanding thesis, Lieutenant Anthony Kamunyu Murui, United States Navy. With the degree Master of Science in Astronautical Engineering, Lieutenant Nathan Christopher Kudtree, United States Navy. Graduating with distinction, Lieutenant Max Stein Matthias, United States Navy. Receiving the astronaut Michael J. Smith and astronaut William C. McCool Astronautics Award and the Chief of Naval Research Award for Excellence in Robotics and Autonomous Systems Research, Lieutenant Angelina O'Toole, United States Navy. Lieutenant Alexandra Christina Sharenko, United States Navy. Lieutenant Adriana Tucker, United States Navy. With the degree Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering, graduating with an outstanding thesis and receiving the Naval Sea Systems Command Award in Naval Mechanical Engineering, Lieutenant Bror Axelson, the 4th United States Navy. Lieutenant Commander Benjamin Carver, United States Navy. Graduating with distinction, Lieutenant Adrian Gonzalez, United States Navy. Lieutenant Daniel Harder, United States Navy. Lieutenant Verna Jo Makapagal, United States Navy. Lieutenant Emma Kyle Markoff, United States Navy. Lieutenant Patrick Albert Tapp, United States Navy. With an outstanding thesis, Lieutenant David Tauber, United States Navy. With the degree Master of Science in Aerospace Engineering, Major David Cole II, United States Marine Corps. With the degree Master of Science in Applied Cyber Operations, receiving the Fleet Cyber Command Award for Academic Achievement in Cyber Operations, Senior Chief Petty Officer Benjamin Shady, United States Navy. With the degree Master of Science in Cyber Systems and Operations, Lieutenant Kelly Abramson, United States Navy. Lieutenant Kiana Denai, United States Navy. Lieutenant Emily Lynn Moore, United States Navy. Lieutenant Corey Rance, United States Navy. Lieutenant Kelly Rosnick, United States Navy. With the degree Master of Science in Network Operations and Technology, graduating with distinction and receiving the Network Operations and Technology Outstanding Graduate Award, Lieutenant Brittany Laird, United States Navy. With the degree Master of Science in Systems Engineering, Lieutenant Stephen Arnold, United States Navy. Graduating with distinction, recognized for an outstanding thesis, and receiving the Naval Sea Systems Command Award for Excellence in Systems Engineering, Lieutenant Commander Christopher Fackrell, United States Navy. Lieutenant Dentrick Akeem Horton, United States Navy. Lieutenant Leslie Garrick Rodrigo, United States Navy. Graduating with an outstanding thesis and receiving the Chief of Naval Research Award for Excellence in Robotics and Autonomous Systems Research, Lieutenant Frank Chase Smeeks IV, United States Navy. Lieutenant Jasmine Sweet, United States Navy. With a degree Master of Science in Systems Engineering Management, Captain Stuart Brimmer, United States Army. Captain Sean Cochran, United States Army. Captain Jared Colvin, United States Army. Captain Andrew Francisco Durfee, United States Army. Major Eric Brandon Forsgren, United States Army. Major John William Graham, United States Army. Captain Michael Hernandez Trujillo, United States Army. Captain Chad Monroe Howard, United States Army. Captain Brian Jernigan, United States Army. Captain Aaron Johnson, United States Army. Major Joseph Cody Lucas, United States Army. Captain Jesse Meininger, United States Army. Major Stephen Moore, United States Army. Captain James Oliver, United States Army. Captain Eric Page, United States Army. Lieutenant Colonel Jung Pak, United States Army. Captain Justin Strait, United States Army. Captain Terrence Street, Jr., United States Army. Captain Jacob Zeniger, United States Army. Captain Benjamin J. Walden, United States Space Force. With the degree Master of Science in Systems Engineering, graduating with distinction, recognized for an outstanding thesis, and receiving the Meyer Award for Outstanding Student in Systems Engineering Distance Learning, Mr. Thomas Michael Buteau, Naval Surface Warfare Center, Crane Division. With an outstanding thesis, Mr. Fernando Fuentes, Naval Surface Warfare Center, Dahlgren Division. Mr. Aaron Yacht, Naval Air Systems Command. Graduating with distinction, recognized for an outstanding thesis, and receiving the Meyer Award for Outstanding Student in Systems Engineering Distance Learning, Mr. Larry Mannings, Naval Undersea Warfare Center, Division Newport. Mr. Joshua Defoe McDonald, Naval Air Systems Command. Graduating with an outstanding thesis, Ms. Golda Rose Morgan, Naval Surface Warfare Center, Corona Division. With an outstanding thesis, Mr. Ricardo Perez, Naval Surface Warfare Center, Crane Division. With an outstanding thesis, Mr. Jonathan Shanowski, Naval Information Warfare Center, Pacific. With the degree Master of Science in Systems Engineering Management, Mr. Jacob Maurice Bell, Naval Air Warfare Center, China Lake. Mr. Charles Doronda Slagle, Naval Surface Warfare Center, Port Hueneme Division. With the degree Master of Science in Meteorology, Second Lieutenant Nicole Koricher, United States Air Force. Second Lieutenant Chelsea Huff, United States Army. With the degree Master of Science in Meteorology and Physical Oceanography, graduating with distinction, Lieutenant Commander Matthew Dean Hakes, United States Navy. With an outstanding thesis, Lieutenant Commander Nicholas Henrik Reuter, United States Navy. Lieutenant Teresa Clea Schultz, United States Navy. With the degree Master of Science in Engineering Acoustics, Lieutenant Rafael Alberto Cruz Gomez, Mexican Navy. With the degree Master of Science in Applied Physics, receiving the Naval Sea Systems Command Award for Excellence in Combat Systems, Major Michael Jeffrey Wish, United States Marine Corps. With an outstanding thesis, Lieutenant Nicholas James Hutton, United States Navy. Lieutenant James Allen Kempa, United States Navy. Lieutenant Commander Konstantinos Miligaris, Hellenic Navy. Lieutenant Commander Christos Nukas, Hellenic Navy. Graduating with distinction and receiving the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory Award for Excellence in Applied Physics Research, Lieutenant Nathan Redder, United States Navy. Lieutenant Commander Martin Tamus, Indonesian Navy. Receiving the Monterey Kiwanis Club Outstanding International Student Award, Lieutenant Niklaus Vidalis, Hellenic Air Force. With the degree Master of Business Administration, Acquisitions and Contract Management, Major Roberto Antonio Ariza, United States Marine Corps. With an outstanding thesis, Major Kenneth Stephen Bobby, United States Marine Corps. With an outstanding thesis, Captain Nicholas Crucides, United States Marine Corps. Captain Ivan Covarrubias, United States Marine Corps. With an outstanding thesis, Captain Dylan Alexander Globerman, United States Marine Corps. With an outstanding thesis, Captain Aaron Radel, United States Marine Corps. With an outstanding thesis, Captain Nicholas Romer, United States Marine Corps. With an outstanding thesis and receiving the Commander Philip A. Murphy Suite Memorial Award for Excellence in Acquisition, Lieutenant Commander Faith Hawkins, United States Navy. Lieutenant Commander Garrett Adam Pace, United States Navy. Lieutenant Commander Barry Ventura, United States Navy. Lieutenant Commander Lin Lin Zheng, United States Navy. Captain James Barrett, United States Air Force. With an outstanding thesis, Captain Bailey Nicole Calico, United States Air Force. Captain John Andrew Espinoza, United States Air Force. With an outstanding thesis, Captain Charles Harris Goldstein, United States Air Force. Captain Christopher Graham, United States Air Force. With an outstanding thesis, Captain Alyssa Elizabeth Hurst, United States Air Force. With an outstanding thesis, Captain Jordan Stanley Lindley, United States Air Force. Captain Ebony Martin, United States Air Force. Captain Layla Rahebi, United States Air Force. Graduating with distinction and receiving the Assistant Secretary of the Air Force Acquisition Award for Academic Excellence, Captain Joshua Clayton Rennick, United States Air Force. Captain Alexander Seung Pip Pop, United States Air Force. Graduating with an outstanding thesis and receiving the Distinguished Professor Kenneth J. Yuski Dean's Medal for Innovative Contribution to Naval Defense, Department of Defense Management, First Lieutenant Brittany Thompson, United States Air Force. Captain Richard Wahidi, United States Air Force. With an outstanding thesis, Captain George Wright, United States Air Force. With the degree Master of Business Administration, Systems Acquisition Management, Major Scott Betancourt, United States Army. Lieutenant Nestor Daniel Sanchez, United States Navy. Lieutenant Commander Drake Thornton, United States Coast Guard. Graduating with distinction and receiving the Louis D. Liskin Award for Excellence in Management, Lieutenant Luiz de Queiroz Alves, Brazilian Navy. Lieutenant Commander Michael McCall, United States Navy. Lieutenant Commander Timothy Vidala, United States Navy. Lieutenant Felipe Fernandez, Brazilian Navy. With the degree Master of Business Administration, Material Logistics Support Management, Major Jeffrey Carbon, United States Marine Corps. Receiving the Rear Admiral Donald R. Eaton Logistics Award for Outstanding Achievement, Major Brian Harding, United States Marine Corps. Captain Janelle Nellie Kelly, United States Marine Corps. Captain Anne-Marie McFadden, United States Marine Corps. Major David McInnes, United States Marine Corps. Major Liston Pennington, United States Marine Corps. Major Luke Scholl, United States Marine Corps. Lieutenant Commander Keith Lodeman, United States Navy. Lieutenant Kiana Daynell Miles, United States Navy. Graduating with distinction, receiving the Rear Admiral Donald R. Eaton Logistics Award for Outstanding Achievement, Lieutenant Commander Francesco Augusto de Souza, Brazilian Navy. With the degree Master of Business Administration, Financial Management, Captain Mark Kevin Austria, United States Marine Corps. Captain Raymond Michael Horning, United States Marine Corps. Major Jacqueline Marshall, United States Marine Corps. Major Matthew Schulman, United States Marine Corps. Captain Gregory Snell, United States Marine Corps. With an outstanding thesis, Lieutenant Commander Christopher Bottigello, United States Navy. Lieutenant Jasmine Davis, United States Navy. Jamie Davis, I'm sorry. Lieutenant Antoine Durawi, United States Navy. Lieutenant Zachary Peyton Enix, United States Navy. Lieutenant Commander Jonathan Andrew Grant, United States Navy. Lieutenant Galen Tom Mander, United States Navy. Lieutenant Jonathan Brock Newman, United States Navy. Lieutenant Adam Bradley Pierce, United States Navy. Lieutenant Joshua Reed, United States Navy. Lieutenant Commander Philip Nicholas Robinson, United States Navy. Lieutenant Michael Sanchez, United States Navy. Lieutenant DeBrandon Sanders, United States Navy. Lieutenant Alexander Shimizu, United States Navy. Lieutenant Marissa Stewart, United States Navy. Lieutenant Commander Andrew Stitt, United States Navy. Graduating with distinction, recognized for an outstanding thesis, receiving the Conrad Scholar Award for Distinguished Academic Achievement in Financial Management, and the Department of the Navy Award for Academic Excellence in Financial Management, Lieutenant Commander Michael James Zecca, United States Navy. Lieutenant Philip Gervato, U.S. Navy Reserve. Lieutenant Commander John Hasselbauer, U.S. Navy Reserve. With the degree Master of Science in Management Manpower Systems Analysis, Major Celestia Tan, Singapore Army. Receiving the Department of Defense Management Faculty Outstanding International Student Award, Lieutenant Commander Robin Haller-Trost, Royal Australian Navy. With the degree Professional Master of Business Administration and graduating with distinction, Colonel Benjamin Fu, Singapore Air Force. With the degree Master of Business Administration, Logistics Information Tech, Captain Jonathan Dodge, United States Army. Lieutenant Commander Melanie Martins, United States Navy. Lieutenant Commander Cesar Valenzuela, United States Navy. Please join me in giving all our graduates a well-deserved
What about a
round
big hand of applause for the captain here?
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the benediction.
Prior to the benediction, I want to take a point of privilege here. We need to also thank the Naval Postgraduate School Foundation, from the Bicycle Club to all that they're doing to help us to push toward innovation. Thank you to the foundation. Okay.
Please receive the benediction. To the immortal God, who spoke all good things into existence by the power of word, bless the Naval Postgraduate School, every student, faculty, and staff, to also have the creativity and inspiration to deliver unto life and our world a hopeful world, to keep faith and to keep fighting the good fight, to remain optimistic when the world sometimes brings and pulls us down, to new heights among the clouds like the Air Force, to never leave our friends behind like the United States Marines and our Army, to absorb the traditions of Halsey, Nimitz, Perry, and John Paul Jones like the Navy, to shine like the sun, like a lighthouse for the rest of the world, especially for those who are weak and weary, those who feel lost like they are stranded at sea. May we always be light like the city on a hill for your glory. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's graduation ceremony. On behalf of the President, Provost, and all of us at the Naval Postgraduate School, I would like to once again thank you for being here today. We also offer our sincere appreciation to the Naval Postgraduate School Color Guard and the Del Monte Brass. Please remain clear of the aisles until the platform party and faculty have departed. On behalf of the Naval Postgraduate School Foundation, I would like to invite graduates, faculty, and guests to reception in honor of the graduates in the Barbara Mitnick Ballroom of Harmon Hall immediately following the ceremony. Happy holidays to all.